What's up? You're back. Tuning in again. Today, what we're going to be doing is the 90L maintenance. So it's been about a month, so almost 4 weeks. We did this October 27th, 2024, if you're watching this way in the future. And this is November 24th, almost the 27th. So we're almost at the full month mark of this tank being active. We've let this tank cycled with fish and we've added some shrimp, not my prize shrimp, but we're gonna be adding those all tomorrow together. For the fish that we've added in here, we added some chili rasboras, 5 of them, and then we went through and added some dwarf pygmy rasboras, which are kind of the same genus, except they just have different stridation from a different color. They're almost the same type of colors, but a circle dot versus like a line through the body of itself. Then we went through and added some Pinocchio shrimp, which are amazing at taking on any algae problem, which I haven't had any huge algae breakouts in this, just on the glass, which is what we're gonna go through today. And right where that glass is, where I'm gonna scrape it down to, I'll remove some of the sand and put some new sand in there too. So that's what we've added so far. Oh, can't forget nearite snails to take care of all the wood that's in here. The stem plants have grown wild, so we need to trim everything, get everything back in line as it's starting to grow out, make it grow more dense, and let's go through and do that together. And then tomorrow in the same video, you're gonna see my most prize ad that I wanted to for this tank. Kind of one of the main reasons I built this 20-gallon was for these Caridina shrimps that I have. So make sure you tune in all the way to the end, or you can skip forward. Either way, let's hop on in and do some maintenance on this tank. All right, so we're gonna start at the left side. Where are we at? So there is, you may not be able to see it as well as focus, but there is some green wall on this glass here. And when I scrape it, I'm gonna make sure I vacuum some of this substrate up down here, because when you scrape it down with a glass cleaner, it's gonna spread towards the substrate. And when I do macro filming, it'll pick it up in the camera lens itself. But if you wanna confirm with me, let's head over here. You can see in the green wall, again, no maintenance on this tank since I've had it running for almost a month now. You can tell stem plants in the back have overgrown. All of my plants are doing really well. Everything just needs to be trimmed up. There's some clown killifish. You have your mono shrimp in here. Everything pretty much went away when I turned on the lights. You have your rasboras over on this side. They love to chill here when it's light out. But moving over here, they school around. Still getting used to the tank. They haven't been in the tank for more than about a week. So I am going to trim some of the greens right here as well. These are going to stay. I may box them down a little bit, but everything, as you can tell, is just growing super, super well. I mean, even to the point where this peace lily that's growing out of the tank has flowered. So again, everything is just doing super well, and it is time to add the shrimp. But before I do, I want to trim everything in and make this look a little bit more clean. So that's what I need to do. Let's go through and start scraping some of this glass. All right, first and foremost, we're gonna trim these back stem plants before we do any glass scraping. So apparently I planted some of the blood reds incorrectly, and these are just green rotalas. So I need to trim those all the way down because those need to be on this side, because I'm having contrasting colors, green and then red over here. I don't want red and green in one area. So I need to go through and do that as well. So what we're gonna do is go through and trim some of these. So I'm gonna leave these greens until I get all the reds busheled up, because I need to trim these all the way down, almost remove them, because I don't want them to regrow here. I want them to grow over here. Okay, so next up is refining these greens back here so that they don't grow back. All right, so we have some new freshly trimmed stems. We'll let these grow out in the back as these start to add more volume. Replant, same thing, always trim, replant, trim, replant. So that's what these are gonna do as it starts to create a more dense area. So up here, I am gonna trim some of these as well. Some of my Monte Carlo too that I added as well. All right, I think we're all good on how everything trimmed out. I don't need to do anything to these foreground plants. I'm just gonna let them all grow out a little bit more. Same thing over here. Just letting everything still grow out. But everything looks great. The only algae is on the glass. So, and you see some on the rock, of course, but my nearite snails are doing magical work on getting that all cleaned up. So time to just move forward and start scraping the glass. Actually, I'm gonna do two because I don't want the algae to go everywhere in the tank. So I'm gonna do this a little bit better than what I was initially going to do, which is I am going to use my glass cleaner, which has a cloth on it, to get most of it off, and then I'll go through and scrape it. So as you can tell, let's see, can I get the light to work? There we go. That's all the algae off the glass. I'll go through and refine scrape it here in a second. But we need to do this side next. So I'll take off my CO2 reader. All right, so now it's time to go and vacuum here along the ridge of the front of this glass. I'll re-add some sand. Basically, it's starting to get some algae from the glass wall on the sand here. And I don't like that when I'm doing macro filming, so I'm just gonna vacuum all that up and add some new sand to it. Super easy. And then I'm gonna vacuum some of the poop up, or waste, from the wood and the shrimp in here. So we'll go through and do that. All right, we are all done. So I just need to fill this thing back up. Again, we went through and vacuumed a lot of the top substrate in this area. So we'll look at everything. Looking good. There's my little Pinocchio shrimp right here. There's two more. They're just a little shy, but you can see the Amano shrimp going around. But everything looks great. So let's fill this thing back up. We'll recap this tomorrow. I am gonna add, if you can see back here, the intake doesn't have a piece of foam around it. So an intake foam. So essentially what I'm gonna do, this is for the baby shrimp, so they can't get sucked up into it. I'll add this too, but we'll recap tomorrow. This will fill up, we'll let it run tonight, and then we'll add our super amazing shrimp that you'll all see tomorrow as well. But everything looks great. All right, so it's the next day. I'm extremely excited because now what we're going to do is add our lovely OE shrimp. So these are Caridina shrimp. There are the OE line or orange-eyed Caridina shrimp. The ones that I have are the Red Devils. So these are more red, deeper with orange eyes. And then I have my black King Kongs that are OEs as well. So I have 7 and 5 Red Devils. And then we have 7 of our OE black King Kongs. I have them in my other tank. That's where they've been hanging out for the last month while this tank has been cycling. I highly recommend, if you're getting into the Caridina game, making sure you cycle that tank before you add them in. That cycle is a lot quicker when you are using RODI remineralized water than it is from tap water, using like D-chlor or something like that. But before I even brought them in, I do have the, well, this is TDS is a little bit lower. This is at 175 reading right now. The tank that I have them in with my other Caridina, I kept them in with my Galaxies, is at 200. pH is also lower on this tank. This pH is sitting at right about 6.9. In my Galaxies, it's sitting at about 7, even flat. So I did drip them just in case. Always want to be safe with your shrimp. So drip acclimating, you'll see a video going through of me showing you that I'm just using a airline with a nozzle that's slowly dripping it in. So they've drip acclimated. It's time to add them. I'm super excited. Truthfully, I built this tank specifically for my shrimp. Everything else is just additional add. I don't like to have breeding tanks that just have the main like Amazon soil or control soil in the bottom. I like them to be wonderfully scaped. So we went through, maintained it, did a little bit of maintenance on it yesterday, and now the full time of me adding the shrimp, the tank that I built for, looking for OEs, finally getting them here and adding them into the tank. So let's go through and do that with me. All right, so I plan on adding them right around this area so that they have some shelter when they get added in. So let's go through and add our OEs together. So they're just sitting back here. Some are already, oh, there's one right here on that leaf. Some down in the bottom down here. So excited to see how these pan out in the tank. Move you guys back, refocus you. And let's go through and do a capstone as we look at this tank in its complete view. So let's talk about what we did. So we went through and cleaned the glass. We also trimmed some of our stem plants in this back area here. Trimmed some of our stem plants over here as well, our Monte Carlo, which is gonna be carpeting. We went through and I moved a bunch of the Anubis around because I was vacuuming around there. And I didn't glue these down. I've never had success, well, some success. But majority of my non-success makes me not typically like to glue my Anubis down. So I moved these around, and then after I scraped the glass, I vacuumed all of the sand that was along this line. Now you don't have to do that. Again, that was just preference, because when I do macro shooting, if there is algae on it, I don't like that to have an impact on my shot. So just a personal preference, you don't have to. But going back, and we added some substrate, new substrate. I didn't add as many floating plants. I just want that back corner to be kind of like a bog, I guess you would say, area. So it has the floating plants with the plant that's coming out. So this will be a nice shady area. Our fish are starting to school on the opposite side now, which is good news. Hopefully they start schooling in the center now. So they've moved from the bottom left during the day to over here. Hopefully they'll school everywhere else as they start to settle into the tank. But extremely excited for where we're at on this venture with this 90L, this long 20-gallon aquarium built around my OEs. Basically, what we did, again, if you want to go and look at the scape, feel free to go up here, check out the full scape video. We let this thing cycle for right around a month. We're a couple days shy. Today's my birthday, so I felt like it was the perfect day to actually go through and add these Caridina shrimp into here. Something I've been wanting for a while. Now, if you want to see some macro shooting, I will do a video at some point that's more of a lo-fi video that will show it. But in the meantime, feel free to check out my Instagram, Aquascape Odyssey, if you want to see some macro filming of my new OEs. I've had them for a month, just haven't filmed them because I want to film them in this tank. So hopefully you all enjoyed this little maintenance, adding my favorite shrimp right into this aquarium. And if you've watched it this far, please take this moment to like and subscribe. It truly helps out the channel. And if you have any questions about Caridina shrimp, how to maintain, or anything else in that factor, feel free to comment. I'm always here to help. I love giving back to all of you listening in. If you have a specific question, as you've been tuning into my videos, just ask me. I comment right away, have the notifications on my phone, so I'm here to help. But until next time, we'll see you all on the next video.